one of the main things that I look at when I'm doing a rough pass is at the rhythms, at the forces that exist inside of the character. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of this like crazy. So I can draw on top of your drawing, Camila. So I see this character because of the arm pushing back. The back is tilting a little bit towards the back. So we're having this rhythm that is going to bounce back here towards the belly. And here from the belly, I am trying to imagine how the character looks inside of these draperies. So I'm going all the way around like this and like this and like this. And boom, I'm trying to create this bean shape or also like a flower sack type of shape. Awesome. If I want to take this and move it towards the side, you'll see how can I convert this into a flower sack just by adding this turning edge. We can add, for example, here, this arm will be like this and this arm will be like that. So one of the main first step is to understand how to simplify this part of the character and how this can resemble these basic characters that we used to learn animation at the beginning, like the flower sack. So now that I'm aware of that, I'm also aware of here the top plane. I'm also aware here of the side plane. So I'm going to draw parallels of the rhythms that I drew on the other side, so I can start creating the volume and start showing the different faces that this character is showing. Here, for example, we can show the front face of the character. And when I'm talking about faces, I mean something like when we work with 3D softwares, that we can select one specific face of the character and we can extrude, we can do crazy things like that. And being aware of that division inside of the character is going to help us a lot. So let's see, if this arm is going forward, then the opposite leg is moving forward. That means that if this arm is going forward, this is the one that is going to go behind. So by being aware of that, now see how first I designed this side plane on this part of the character, but now that I am observing the character, I'm seeing that this side plane now instead is going to go all the way back around here. Why? Because I want to see boom, 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 how this side plane is also going to contain the attachment of these pieces of the character. So I'm going to delete all of this part of the side character from here, and being aware of like here is going to be the arm and here is going to be the leg, and here we're going to see well, this is a fat character, so we have the belly there, we have the other leg that is going this way. Sorry, I'm a little bit with coughing like this. So here, and then because I'm not seeing because of the clothes, the character completely, I'm trying to invent, or with the concepts that I'm sharing inside of the classroom, design these shapes. And I'm always trying to taper these shapes, even though the character is a little bit fat or chubby. I'm trying to taper a little bit those shapes to create very dynamic and appealing shapes. And from here, look at this. I'm building the leg. There you go. And now let's go with the other one. With the other one, I'm going to go like this, boom, 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 and then I'm going to go like this. So I am merging right now both, Camila. This is my rough pass. Actually, will look something like this. Only my rough pass will look something like this. My rough pass will look something like this. See how I am see how I am adding this information here in order to represent that this leg is towards the front, and not adding this line all the way here, because now it feels like this is one going towards the front. So we are communicating with shapes, we're communicating with these lines, these force lines, these rhythms that we're adding here. And then from the shoulder, we're bouncing back here towards the tricep, and then we're going up, and then here, the hand. Now here, for example, using the same rhythms that I already drew, I can grab any of those. In this case was this one over here. I can grab any of those and build from there the other part of the character. Boom! And then here we have the head. I can do something like that with the head, and then I can build the side plane. I can add center line here. And I feel like the head is not completely side view, so it's not flat. It have a little bit of perspective. So I'm going to go around like this, and then from here at the nose, just some simple shapes that represents the bigger mass of the character, and then on top of this I can refine and add more information. So for a rough pass, for a very rough first pass, this will be the idea. Now moving forward with what I had before, oopsie, I totally get rid of everything. So I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to duplicate this rough pass, put it over here, and now I'm going to use this rough pass to build my volumes on top. So this is the step-by-step process. I'm going to duplicate this, maybe make it a little bit pinkish, reduce the opacity, and now on top of this I'm going to make it a little bit like this. Now on top of this I'm going to build the volume. So that's why it's so important to work in the steps or in layers in some way. So here now I can build the the character on top. I'm going to move this reference a little bit towards this side, and I'm going to use this reference right now to observe and see how can I make this really cool and badass. So there you go. Let's now bring all of the information that I'm seeing here into this super rough drawing that I did here. Let's go. So let's explore this concept of the floor sack. And just by connecting the rhythms, we're going to start building some volumes. And now we are designing the volumes in order to show all the main faces that I want to show on the character. Here we're having the top plane, we're having here the side plane. Because of the leg is pushing back, all of this side plane of the character is going to drag towards that way, while we have on this one in this direction. I'm seeing that the character is a little bit also tilting over towards camera, this direction. So I'm pushing that, and if I need to reduce that, I will reduce that eventually. And then I'm going to add here the attachment of the leg. Then from here, I can one line from the turning edge, connecting here with this attachment that I do here, and then working with tapering shapes with these volcano shapes in order to create very dynamic and appealing poses, and then building this part over there. Now I go to the other side, boom, I will one line all of this into one single line, and then also one line this into something like that. I'll draw this something like this, and then here the foot, boom, boom, boom. So I'm drawing on top of the gesture pass that I did, and I'm refining and adding more information if needed. Sounds good. Awesome. So let's continue. Here we're going to have the shoulder and then bounce back here with the arm, and I'm trying to look through the cloth, and do any and how I'm tapering hit towards the top of the forearm. So I'm using all of these variants to create the design of the character. Here we're going to have something like this. I can add more information here on the fingers, or I can just simplify into the bigger shapes, and then once I move forward into shape design, I can start adding more and more details. So from here, I'm grabbing the same rhythm that I am using here on the front part of the character to build with one line the arm here, bam, and then whoop, 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 whoop. I'm tapering, and if I want to go and draw through, this will be something like this. There you go, something like this. And then here, I can add the hand that is going to be something like this only. Cool. So this is how I'm starting to draw the construction of this character. Now the head I feel like it's going to be a little bit lower around here. Now we're going to draw the side plane of the head. We're going to draw the eye line. Then we're going to draw a center line. And then here from the center line, I can extrude here the nose, and start adding a big shape here for the head. Boop, 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 boop. And then on top of this, once we move forward into the challenge, we can add more information, even more information on the face, and the facial features and all of that. For example, here I can add the nostril, I can add here this part of the nose, I can add the cheek. And it's really cool how they are drawing this part of the cheek. You will say like something like this, connected all the way here with the mouth, and then we're going like this towards the front with the mouth. We're going around to draw this open mouth like this, and boom, something like that. I'm not sure from where is this character, but it will be interesting to see how it looks. It looks without covering this character with this. So here, for example, the moment that I want to add, let's draw these glasses. Let's add some volume here. Super rough. As we evolve into the challenge, we are going to add more information into our drawings. So we have something like this. I can add all of these elegant design here on the mask if I need to. Boom, boom, boom. But for just the days of perspective, something like this will be enough because we are showing all the construction and stuff. Now then, using another layer, I can build on top the cloth, and I can also reduce the opacity. I'm using right now to boom, but Photoshop works perfectly too. And then here on top of this, I can start adding the cloth around the construction that we already created. And this is the amazing thing about working and being aware of the solid construction that the character have, because then we are going to build the drapery on top properly. And the character is not going to be built out of the clothes that the character wears, but instead of the actual construction of the character itself. Look at that, and it's super simple now to add the clothes, because it's just, this is the fun part, it's just dressing the character on top of the volumes that we drew, and we are going to move forward confidently, with confidence that this is going to look really well. And if I need to add more details, I'll add more details. If I need to fix some stuff here, I can fix more stuff here, and all that thing. Here, for example, I can add a little bit of cloth like this. I can do something like this, and then something like this here, and then something like this here, and then then the belly, that is going to be something like that. And on top of this, I can also add these details in the drapery, and see how I am drawing very loose. I have this habit of drawing 2 lines most of the time when I'm drawing, because I want to be super loose with my lines. I want to feel the line. I don't want to have a final, only one line, only one commitment with my lines. I want to make my hand dance. I want to make my line feel like it's dancing around the character. The consequence of my line dancing is that it's going to build a proper, accurate characters. So that's the main thing that I try to think about, and not committing too early with with the final lines, but exploring. Sounds good. For example, here this part of the shoe is thicker, so that's something that I can fix on top. Here I can add this part of the pants, and then on top of this I can add this boot. And as I move forward, I can polish. I'm grouping all of this, but then eventually I can break the grouping and start designing every single shape. And I'm showing a step by step, because here, for example, I see that the arm could be a little bit backwards, a little bit like that, so that works. And I'm going fast like this. The Rare Candy Show. Hi, do you remember me? The Rare Candy Show? Not actually, but you can remind me who you are. Feluca Fer, Henry querido, ¿cómo estamos? ¿Llego tarde? Un poquito tarde, Fer. Llevamos solo un dibujito. Vamos a hablar de feedback de dibujo para animación y aparte unos character design que un amigo publicó en la comunidad que están geniales. Así que estás a tiempo, ¿Cómo va todo, Fer? ¿Cómo van con los proyectos? ¿Y en qué estás trabajando ahorita? Cuéntame. En el entretiempo voy a seguir haciendo aquí el feedback para animación, y cualquier preguntita que tengas, como siempre, bienvenido, y pues a preguntar lo que más se pueda, y aquí estaré para ayudar en lo que más pueda también. Cool. So Camila, this is how I will study this stuff. I'm not aiming for accuracy right now. I'm aiming to just study the characters, understand how everything works, and how is that I can go step by step building in a layering system in order to approach in the same way animation. So it's not that it's not such a complex task when we are approaching animation. So here, for example, that's something that we can do in here. This is the amount of information that we need in our drawings, and yeah, hope that helps, because we're combining both, being super loose, but at the same time being very clear with the drawings that we are making. Sounds good. And sometimes, yeah, we learn that we have to represent the volumes with surface lines. That's really cool if you want to do so, but there are some very first steps that we cannot jump or skip, which are building a super cool structure of the character and then knowing how the drapery goes on top of this structure of the character that we built. Cool. We mentioned some theory here, like grouping elements, for example, on the hand, and then breaking those elements of the hands into the smaller shapes. Same on the boots. And yeah, seeing that the drapery is not going to define the overall character, but the structure inside, and how to connect, how to create a side plane, and how that side plane is going to take on the arms, the leg, and how is that we are going to try and find as much as we can this floor sack character within the torso of the characters. Sounds good? Hope this helps, Camila. I will love to keep seeing your drawings in the community, and if you have any specific questions about the drawings that you're approaching, feel free to ask me, and feel free to leave some descriptions on the images that you post, and I'll be happy to answer either text or during these streams. Cool. Good luck.